1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm talking. Can you picking it up? Yeah? Beautiful. Oh, okay, gotcha. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Yep. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Good to go? Beautiful.
Classic jazz beats.
Oh, I think I know what you Well, I would pick the stream. Won't be cutting this. It's social media. It'll be decent quality. I know where it's like
What do I think that is?
I had it all sorted out. Yeah, man. Because he's live streaming.
Bonjour, Kanutski in the Dijnicast. Bonjour. Oh, I should talk in here. We're live streaming. This isn't even on. Nothing works here. There we go. Hey. I want to welcome everybody here today to the Northern Road Link project. And apparently, we're going to be eating pasta really soon. That's why I came here. I came through snow and storm and wind. It was so rough getting here. The road, and it was very slippery outside, but I made it. And I'm here today to learn more about the Northern Road Link project. And I'm also here today to have some great pasta here at the Da Vinci and hang out with some good friends from Anishinaabe Nation. So thank you for coming out tonight. And I finally realized that this mic's not working, so I'm starting to use my power voice that I would use when the sound system doesn't work. So I hope you can hear me at the back, but I know many of you are busy on TikTok right now, so you're not even paying attention. So carry on with TikTok, you know who you are, and we will be back here momentarily with some guests to tell you about the Northern Road Link project. But unfortunately, if you're coming in for live from live stream on the internet, you're not going to get to have any pasta. So I apologize for that in advance. That's it. That's all I have to say for now.
Turn your mic on.
It is on. It's on. Well, now it's on even more. Oh. I don't know what sounds better right now. I kind of sound like the guy on Wasea, the pilot. We're going to be flying at about 32,000 feet. It's going to be about, flight's going to be about an hour and a half, winds coming in from northwest. And unfortunately, the door is not really staying up well, but we've put a couple of clamps on her. That should hold her. And Bruce is going to hold the door here so it doesn't fall open while we're flying. Thanks for flying, Wasea, and enjoy your flight. I'm not going to get sued for that, am I? Is there anyone here from Wasea? Okay, good. All right. I probably should have said bearskin air on that one, but wanted to keep it North Star. I wanted to keep it in. I wanted to keep it in the community, you know. So we don't offend anybody. Then I can just say, just kidding. That's what we always say in Ojibwe after we insult people. Just kidding. I was just kidding. Oh, okay, you were just kidding. All right. Okay, I'm really hungry right now. I'm just getting thin here, as you can tell. I'm almost dropped a pound here, and we don't want to fall below 240, so let's hit it. So the chief's here, so let's start eating. Prayer time. Who's doing the prayer? Prayer time. I do the prayer, but if you'll notice, I was at Shoppers Drug Mart and I dyed my hair, so I can't do it anymore. I used to be able to, but I don't have white hair no more. I got Shoppers Drug Mart hair. Somebody pick somebody already. Hurry up. How's your wee butt? All right, we're gonna take over? All right. Substitute.
Thanks, Ron. And just wanted to welcome everybody to the Northern Roll Link Thunder Bay members from from Martin Falls and Webbequay. And so tonight we're going to have some dinner, some information shared through a presentation, and then some entertainment with Ron. But before we start, I wanted to ask Chief Bruce to come up, say a few words, and I thought it was Sam. Sam was going to do the blessing of the food. So shortly right after that, we'll have the presentation. So Chief Bruce, if you wanted to come up, say opening remarks, and then we'll get Sam to bless the food, and we can get the food.
Hallo, bonjour. Miigwech Bruce Hatchnivenich come to Zinkas. We go back in Martin Falls First Nation. I want to say thank you for everybody coming out today. Very glad to see family, friends, and all you people, good-looking people out there. We're gathered here today to listen and learn more of what's happening with our environmental assessment on the Northern Road Link. It's a dream for our community to be part of this. It's not too long ago we started off with our environmental assessment on our own community access road, and our members have been calling for a community access road for quite some time now. I think the past 3 chiefs before me have worked on a community access road to our community for in different studies and different forums throughout the past 15-20 years. So it's a long-standing dream for our community that we hope that it'll come to pass in the near future. And we understand that these things take time. Doing a community environmental assessment and undertaking those studies, those important studies that we need to undertake in an environmental assessment. And the Northern Road Link is another environmental assessment. We're in partnership with Webbequay First Nation as co-proponents of that environmental assessment. And it's one part of the leg in going up to for one part of the leg and going up to the Ring of Fire eventually. But these environmental assessments, they take time. For us, our Martin Falls Community Access Road, we've been at that project now for close to three years, and maybe 4 years now with COVID. That briefly interrupted the how we move forward and the actual move forward of the environmental assessment. So these things take time, And, part of our dream and our vision for a community access road, I know I'm putting in a pitch for the community access road, but we're also talking about here, the team of the night is the Northern Road Link. But I just wanted to talk about our community access road and the many benefits that it'll bring to our community members. Right now, it's very costly to bring in freight and food into the community. It's very costly to go up there to visit family and friends and visit the community and to reconnect to the land and our family and friends. So it's very costly, and a lot of people don't have that extra kind of money. It's almost like a luxury that people take for granted today when they're able to drive to the next town, that's maybe 200 kilometers away. Maybe if you drive to Dryden and you have family there, you just pick up and go and are in Dryden in 4 hours or so, and then you're visiting family and friends and are able to reconnect. For us, maybe it's once every 2 years or once every year, and times maybe longer than that. So it's very important for us to connect to the roadways in Ontario, but also it's important for us because of economic development. Economic development in our communities is pretty limited. We have government jobs in the community. First Nation government jobs, education, health, working at the band office, and construction jobs during the season. But most of the time those jobs dry up, and there's few and far opportunities after that. I think with our partnership with Webquay, we afford that dream to move forward with economic development and bridging and building partnerships with industry and also with government. But the important thing is to remember that our First Nations have to take a lead in our own lands, and I think that's what we're doing, Webquay and Martin Falls. We've always said that we need to take the lead in what happens in developing our lands, because who knows the lands better than us that have been there on those lands, since time immemorial. Who knows what's important to our people but ourselves? Who knows who have lived that culture with the land since time immemorial, living with different animals and fish and birds and all that. So that's something that's very important for us. So we managed to work with government on this Northern Road Link and say that if this is going to be done, we have to take the lead. But with that said, it has to be more than that. It has to be more than building roads properly. It has to mean having that actual control of the land on what happens after. And I think that's the missing piece that's out there right now that people are trying to connect. And it's not only about Martin Falls and Webquay. It also involves our neighbors, and they're a very important part of what happens with the Ring of Fire in the long run, because any large-scale development that happens in the north will affect all the communities in the region. Will affect them in positive ways and potentially negative ways. It's those negative ways that we're trying to mitigate. The pollution, the impacts to land that that may result in the actual development that happens. So, this is important for us as a First Nation community, as this is important for any First Nation community across Ontario and Canada. The land has sustained our people since time immemorial, and we hold it dearly, the lands and waters, and what happens on those lands and waters. We have to have a direct say and a large say on what happens in those lands. So I'm glad I had some opening comments here today. I know Chief Wabas couldn't make it, and I'm sure he would have had a lot to say also. So I'll let you carry on with the presentation. Say miigwech for coming out today. I know it's a little bit blistery out there today. Drive safe when you go home, but enjoy your time tonight, and ask the project leaders here any questions that you want, because that's what we're here for, to listen and learn on Northern Road Link environmental assessment. Miigwech.
Sam, perhaps we can just bless the food and then we can start eating. Just one last reminder, Jason here, if you want to put up your hand or stand up, he can do photos with your kids in the corner anytime throughout the evening. So if you want to do some photographs, he's there as well. Well, thank you, Sam.
They promised me food, so I'm here. But I have to earn it first. What do Chairman do? So I ask them to send you get me go my condo them. I'm eager to wear no more guys you got work Chairman do. So you go no guy off the man need to go. I show them a toy to go and snap egg to go. We got no tap in the man away meet to go. After me guys to go guys when we go on. So you go no more around and the man on my key to go. So when I'm snapping the work Chairman to go I know not shaggy to go. Where could we Mr. One and Minister to go? Where could Chinga Kayawati to go and need to snap in anyway? Where whenever we not want them what me not walk on Nicky to go. After he would send them going to go, so when you go need to go. So when I'm snap straight away and the she came not need to go to the county young to go. A key to go straight away. County mad young to go. Kanutski the man to go Mr. Only took. After you get me to go examine it. Miigwech.
Good night. Thank you for the prayer. That was a good one. Very good job.
So I guess we can just start lining up at the buffet. Serene, how do you want to do this? You want to go from left to right or eldest first? Okay.
Oh, kind of an awkward start. I've already. Well for me, as I reflect back on my previous statements, I'm probably going to have to issue an apology tomorrow. Actually, never have to bring this up to the past limits. To be honest, sit in the airport all day, think about where I'm going to might go. Pretty much reality at this point. That's big. Try again tomorrow.
It's a repeat.
Yeah. Just for dinner.
I was just gonna get the presentation like set up, but we're not gonna.
So he boiled his down with that.
Dicey, they just call it dagger.
That's close enough. Let's do it. It's overrated.
Can you just roll this over?
I had it shorter just flying over,
It's a little crooked. I don't know if there's any way.
The legs is probably like
we're actually running off it's like, so they're gonna make a choice. It'll be like, it's just so much. Yeah, what do you want to do? We're just looking at the way. Yeah, let's go around. Yeah, so when we're staring at it, it's like we're just literally just dead.
Oh, there. That's okay. It's too loud.
Leave those on.
Well, most people are probably.
That's how it goes, Matt.
I think that's where we became friends.
Yeah, because you probably went like this together.
Is it better?
You made it like.
No, that's way better. What did you do?
I just cut it more in the middle.
Okay, yeah, let's just do that.
I feel like it might be cut off. I was gonna see that side.
No, we're good. Yeah.
There's that tool.
No, we're good. Let's just leave it like that.
You could level it.
Go for another round.
You good? You're good? Yeah. I turned the mic off, by the way. The mic is off. Just whoever goes up next, turn it on.
That's awesome.
The mic is off. You just want to flip the switch when you're ready. Okay.
No, I can live with that. That's mathematical. Who's projecting this time?
It's weird. It doesn't have the second thing, you know, the one that makes it go forward and backward.
Yeah.
Missing that.
Okay, so we've got to stand here.
No, let's just leave it.
Yeah, one has to move aside.
Yeah.
Why don't we take turns moving?
Sure, I was gonna say, I can
on
sit.
the side.
Okay.
So I don't know if we sit. We just got a chair right here. And
Yeah, that chair's a good idea.
Yeah.
You don't want to stand here, right?
yeah, Telson's gonna start, then me, then Ange. So one of us, me and Ange will take turns.
Do you want to try to play with the audio?
The audio's great. Yeah, our audio's great. We have our own mic for audio. For everybody in our calls, you can hear me? Yeah, we have our own mic.
Oh, and Ange, I have that little notes. I think I just put it right here.
Oh, okay, good. I was gonna ask you.
They're right here.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
I'll just put it there in case there's. Slides. Miniature version. I think for
Well, I was
I also put out notes with some comments I had at the bottom that are there, but other than that, if there's anything.
you've got the notes up there?
Yeah, so I printed them off separately. So the project team, like this is, kind of describes like, because the project team is just a graph, so it kind of talks about the communities and then the consultants, and then.
Right, so I'm doing slide 5 as well. So 3 separate projects.
You don't like you can just read slide 5, but this just talks if you want to mention the purpose of the other 2 projects, because we were kind of talking about how they're separate projects, so they have different purposes. So we just added the purpose of the other 2 projects for context. Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Oh yeah, well, you have to speak notes, but you can't even ever look at them under your presentation.
You don't necessarily want to look at them either.
4 pretzels, 4 pieces of pretzel.
Yes. On the podium like this, the tricky thing always is that you've
I know.
got to do this. So it's great if you've got a little.
Oh yeah, I didn't print it all off. Yeah. I know. I was hoping the laptop would be here, and then we could have an HDMI.
Yeah.
But there is a longer HDMI. Mike brought one, so we could move the PowerPoint here actually. Because we didn't have one earlier. But I think we have one.
It'll make it might make it easier for you as well. Oh, there are too many cables.
I think if you just hold it, yeah, because Mike brought a longer HDMI because that was the other project for the other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that'll be way easier.
Everything's still working?
Yep.
And this, we should be able to make this full screen, so I'll do that before you start.
So obviously just be careful with dust on it.
Yeah.
I can. No, I have to like. I'll work with that.
I just don't want this by the
It'll turn off. We'll turn it off on that. Like we'll turn the music off. We can unplug it or turn it off. Oh shoot. There you go. Oh, move it up there. That's better.
Let's get that on tape. Yeah, good idea.
Thanks. So much fun. All these technical difficulties. I need a mouse. I can't operate without a mouse.
Also, how's your battery right now?
It's unplugged in. It's fine. That's why I unplugged it.
Not soon enough for next game. 9, I think.
It should go down.
I don't know what happened with this.
There we go.
It's a little tight, but yeah. There we go. Yeah, I think I'm leaving it.
Such an awesome setup.
No one's recording it. Most of the audience can't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't trip.
We moved this before, like there's like a bottle of camera like that, like this projector.
Maybe we can move their table here so no one walks over.
Yeah,
it.
that's smart. Yeah.
That makes it safer. There's a projector down there as well.
It's for the venues.
Okay. Just right here.
We can just leave that on here now.
You're on the cable.
This is
Leaving it at 8:55.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So we have to record it after we get there, like just after 8, I guess.
I either for me. It's nice.
And that's for that kind of really flight. Yeah. Enough time to have breakfast. Grab some eggs, grab some cereal.
They are. This was my favorite.
Yeah, okay. It's not cheap though, hey? Yeah. know, like after I'm done, I was just like, hotel, I just like, restaurant with my computer, like have a glass of wine. You know, about
Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't like it. I had a salad, steak salad at Chicago Joe's that I really liked. Very good salad. Greens. We had feta cheese, really nice balsamic. And then just like a shake, like a medium steak. Crust, which is so good. Better than fast food. Yeah. Some of the other stuff is like, I made the mistake of ordering this like fajita bowl thing, like it's just like a lot of cheese. I mean, it's like just there. It's good. We had like a different shrimps. Bob didn't want sushi.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I don't like it. Like with me, like I have my kids and they have to do and when they go away, I know people. Yeah, no, it's kind of I enjoy my nap. It's good. I don't have to travel very much, so I'm good. Like I was on a project. We did a few days for like Flash flights in Saskatchewan. And I would drive because it was like easier to drive to Richmond, have a car, or always like east end of town, to just east. And I feel like flight delays and getting a car out of the airport, so I just drive 6 hours, like all the time. And like I fall probably sit I drive at night. Just but it's like double lane, 110 kilometers an hour, flat line. It's boring, but it feels safer, right? Like, but if you're lane, it's going to take at least but they drop my flights, which I'm going to make Based on the when you drive, you can't. Because I like to drive time, so.
The mic is the big mic is ours.
But it's kind of nice to like a fun activity too, right? You don't need your brain for I'm not good at sleeping in the city. I feel like men sleep better, like, you know, they can just, like, whatever. There's some cool, like, neck things. I've never, like, wrap a thing around your neck. Well, there's a it's on YouTube here, so we can just. Sorry, I need a mouse. So I have that mouse hooked up here.
Yeah, that's your mouse. I just saw it when you moved it.
Yeah, I'm just like, I can't operate my computer without a mouse. My kids never use a mouse, like they don't know how. But now I've lost it.
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so it's here. I'll just pause it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened here. There's some weird presentation mode. Like, I don't really like this presentation mode. I'm just gonna close it.
It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
It looks fine up there.
Yeah, it's just smaller on the screen, so.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, I don't know how to get it off of that.
How do we just flip it on?
Yeah, flip it on.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Now, before we have actual entertainment for the evening, we're going to go through the presentation just to provide information on the project itself. After the evening's done, for more questions, we're all going to be around. You've seen a bunch of us wearing name tags, and those are all the team members working on the Northern Node Link project. My name is Qasim Sadiq. I've had the pleasure of meeting many of you, if not all of you in the past, along with Michael Fox. I'm the project co-lead for the Northern Road Link on behalf of Martin Falls First Nation. So I'll kick us off, and then I'll pass it on to Lindsay McBride from SNC to walk us through the rest of the presentation. So while everyone's eating, please feel free, if you need to go get yourself more food, feel free to do that. Okay, just a little bit of background about the project. This audience knows the project better than anyone else, but just as a background piece, the Northern Road Link is an all-season road in Northern Ontario. It is entirely on Treaty 9 land, but more specifically, for our purposes, it's on the traditional territories of Martin Falls First Nation and Webekwe First Nation in remote Northern Ontario. This part of the project, the Northern Road Link itself, connects the Ring of Fire mineral deposit and the all-season highway network, as well as Webekwe First Nation. So Martin Falls First Nation gets connected as well through the Martin Falls Community Access Road, and between these projects, the communities of Martin Falls, Webekwe, and the region known as the Ring of Fire get connected to the provincial highway network. Now, the Ring of Fire itself, as everyone knows, it has been called one of the most promising mineral development opportunities in Ontario. It includes minerals like chromite, cobalt, nickel, copper, and platinum. Many of those minerals are considered essential from a transition to the green economy perspective, and they're on Canada's critical mineral list as well. The project itself, the Northern Road Link, that's the project that Martin Falls and Webekwe are leading, and the one that we're really concerned about this evening. That has to go through two different assessment processes. The first one is the provincial process known as the environmental assessment process, slightly different name for the federal process known as the impact assessment process. And the proponents, of course, are the two communities of Martin Falls and Webekwe First Nation. Both, as everyone knows, are remote communities about 500 kilometers north of Thunder Bay and not currently accessible by road. In the past, a number of studies were done to see how can the region, particularly the Ring of Fire, could be connected to the all-season road network in Ontario. And it was only in 2020 that Ontario, Martin Falls, and Webekwe announced an agreement to work together where the communities would initially conduct an environmental assessment to make an informed decision about future development. So a bit about the project team itself. It's a community-led project. The way the structure of the team is set up is that the overall project team is overseen by a working group appointed by Martin Falls and Webekwe Chief and Council. The membership of that working group are Lawrence Baxter, Alana Downey Baxter from Martin Falls First Nation, and then Roy Spence and Gordon Wabass from Webekwe First Nation. They oversee the project overall on behalf of the communities, and the day-to-day operational activities are delegated to myself, Qasim Sadiq, and Michael Fox. And we are responsible as co-leads for leading the technical studies with our consulting partners, SNC Lavalin and Dillon Consulting, and to lead the consultation and engagement activities as well. So we're responsible for consulting 22 Indigenous communities, neighboring communities around the project, as well as the general public and government agencies, both federally and provincially. So the consultation requirements of the project are very, very significant, both in terms of engaging with the neighbors, bringing them along, as Chief Bruce talked about in his remarks as well. It is very important for the project to do so. So we go through a lot of effort. We put a lot of time and energy into making sure that, of course, as proponent communities, it's important for us to bring the communities together on events like this. But we do a significant amount of outreach with neighboring communities. So you will see bi-weekly and at least monthly webinars happening online, available on YouTube and Facebook. A lot of regular communication material goes out to those communities. And if any community is interested in meeting with us, we're absolutely available to go into their community as well. So if you meet anyone who doesn't know about the project, is interested, let them know. Our contact information is available on the website, the Northern Road Link website, and we're always very glad to talk with people about the project itself. Now, I talked about the three projects separately initially, just to give a sense of the interaction with other projects. Where does the Northern Road Link lie vis-a-vis the Martin Falls Community Access Road and the Webequie Supply Road? You can see that on this map. The Northern Road Link is the middle portion there. In the south end, you've got the Martin Falls Community Access Road in that purple magenta color. And then you've got the Webequie Supply Road in red in the north. The three projects are going through their own independent environmental assessment processes, and they all have independent purposes as well. The Community Access Road, the Martin Falls Community Access Road's primary purpose is to connect Martin Falls to the provincial highway network. Webequie Supply Road was meant as an economic development road for the community of Webequie. And then we've got the Northern Road Link, which is primarily meant to help connect the Ring of Fire to the provincial highway network as well. So primarily, the Northern Road Link enables economic activity by facilitating the transport of goods, services, and resources. So it's an integral part of the overall road system in Northern Ontario, and once it's built, it will connect both the Ring of Fire as well as Webequie First Nation. Lindsay, I'll pass the rest of the presentation over to you.
Hi, I'm Lindsay, and I'm from SNC-Lavalin and helping out with the environmental assessment for the project. So the project is an all-season, multi-use gravel road. The length of the road will range from 117 kilometers to 164 kilometers in length, depending on which corridors are chosen for the road. It will have a right-of-way of 100 meters with a cleared area of approximately 60 meters. There'll be numerous water crossings, including one large bridge at the Attawapskat River. That bridge will be around 200 meters long. Well, the river is 200 meters long. I guess the bridge will be longer. And it will also include numerous ancillary infrastructure, temporary and permanent, storage and laydown areas, maintenance facilities and yards, access roads, aggregate sites, and construction camps. So we're looking at 12 alternative corridor segments for the road. Each corridor is 2 kilometers wide to allow for routing within the corridor to route the road around various constraints. And various segment combinations are possible to put together a full corridor for the road. At the bottom here, you can see the first segments, A1 or A2, and those two segments are dependent on the decision for the corridor for the Martin Falls Community Access Road. The various alternative corridors were identified based on terrain, while also considering known biological and Indigenous value constraints. Many of the segments follow an esker surrounded by the peatlands of the James Bay lowlands. Additional corridors were developed to accommodate an alternate crossing of the Attawapskat River to avoid things like sturgeon spawning, a moose concentration site, and sites of Indigenous values. And the Ontario environmental assessment process requires an in-depth assessment of alternatives, which includes consideration of net effects after the application of mitigation measures. So we actually have like a two-phased assessment where first we have to identify the preferred corridor for the road, and then we have to assess the impacts of that preferred corridor on the environment. And we're currently developing criteria to assess the advantages and the disadvantages of the various routes. So we're going to look at things like impacts to species at risk and their habitat, impacts to Indigenous values, impacts to peatlands, and aggregate quantities needed to build the road. And this next map shows the three potential crossings of the Attawapiskat River. So we have the East Bridge, which is near the Esker. And then we have two options for the West Bridge. We were initially looking at this far west option, but we've identified that there's some rapids in that location that could potentially be sturgeon spawning habitat. So we're looking at this third West Bridge crossing. So the various crossings range from where the river ranges from 170 meters in width to 255 meters in width. So this map shows the provincial environmental assessment process. We have a planning phase on the left and an impact assessment phase on the right. So we're currently in the planning phase. We circulated draft terms of reference and then submitted a formal proposed terms of reference for review by stakeholders, rights holders, and regulators, which has outlined our plan on how we're going to conduct the environmental assessment. To date, we have received and responded to over 1,000 comments on the terms of reference from regulators, Indigenous communities, and other stakeholders. Responses to comments on the tour were shared in November, and we've made changes to our terms of reference based on the comments received, and we've made new commitments for how we're going to conduct the environmental assessment. The comments and responses will be considered by the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks prior to their decision on the terms of reference. We've carried out a variety of consultation activities on the tour, including live stream events, newsletters, newspaper ads, open houses, and an online comment portal. So both the draft and proposed tour were circulated for 45 and 60 days, but we had a lot of requests for extensions because it wasn't enough time for people to review. So extensions were added to both review periods for Indigenous communities. Comments received included how we're going to carry out the environmental assessment, the consultation process. There was calls to halt the environmental assessment until after the regional assessment. Questions on how we're going to conduct cumulative effect studies, comments on caribou, peatlands, climate, biodiversity, and potential impacts to affected Indigenous peoples. This slide shows the federal environmental assessment. The federal process also has a planning phase and an impact assessment phase. We're currently still in the pre-planning phase for the federal process. We're preparing to submit an initial project description at the end of the year. And then the Impact Assessment Agency of Canada will review that project description and eventually determine if a federal impact assessment is required. We expect that it will be, since Martin Falls Community Access Road and Webequois Supply Road were both required to conduct a federal impact assessment. So an environmental assessment and impact assessment, this is just a general overview of what it includes. It's a process to predict, evaluate, and mitigate potential environmental effects of a project. It supports planning and decision-making and includes engagement with rights holders and stakeholders to inform the process. It includes baseline studies, assessing project and environment interactions and effects, identifying mitigations, assessing residual and cumulative effects, and committing to follow-up and adaptive management plans. So for Northern Road Link, we started baseline studies in 2021, and we plan to continue them through 2024. So we have a detailed consultation and engagement program, as you know, with 22 Indigenous communities. The purpose of consultation and engagement is to promote effective two-way communication between the proponent and members of potentially affected Indigenous communities and organizations, regulators, the public, and others. So we really want this to be two-way. We don't want to just keep feeding people information. We want feedback on how people are affected by the project and how we can help mitigate those concerns. So we developed a detailed consultation plan as part of the terms of reference on how we're going to do the consultation. Martin Falls, Webequie, and Ontario have signed a memorandum of understanding which sets out which procedural aspects of the consultation are being delegated by Ontario to the proponent. We're documenting all consultation in a record of consultation using a software called Praxis. And we're committed to submitting consultation progress reports to the regulator at various environmental assessment milestones. So Martin Falls and Webequie are committed to carrying out a thorough and meaningful consultation and engagement process for the project in a respectful manner that reflects Indigenous culture and traditions. Consultation will be meaningful, transparent, inclusive and accessible, flexible and collaborative. And we're using a number of tools to conduct the consultation, newsletters, letters. We have a project website and social media accounts, meetings with communities, open houses. We're hoping to have workshops and focus groups. We have a website. Anyone can go on the website and sign up to receive emails about the project with regular updates on the project. We also have an Indigenous participation program. So we've retained Origin to produce virtual reality experiences to recruit community members to participate in both the environmental assessment and later phases of the project. These experiences help community members get a better understanding of what it would like to perform some of the jobs and what some of the job opportunities are. We're also looking for Indigenous members to support the EA process, including field studies, coordination of community meetings, and logistical support. We're working to retain Indigenous subcontractors where we can. Bay Media is a big part of the project, and purchase of, using local services where we can. I think we've purchased Wolverine run poles from a local contractor or a local community member, and renting a house in Webequie First Nation, and we're hoping to do as much of these kind of things as we can. We have an in-depth Indigenous knowledge and Indigenous land and resource use program. So Indigenous knowledge is important for creating a holistic EA process. It helps to capture voices, ideas, and concerns in project planning, better understand existing environmental conditions, inform field programs, identify potential areas or sites that we may need to avoid, predict potential impacts and identify mitigation measures and follow-up programs, and inform the assessment of potential impacts to Aboriginal and treaty rights and interests. So I'm going to hand it over to Ange Brooks from SNC-Lavalin to take over the rest of the presentation. So there you go.
Great.
Before I get going, I just want to remind everybody to please fill out the comment sheets. And when you submit your completed comment sheet, you'll get another raffle ticket. We have 3 great door prizes sitting right here. So just remember that it increases your chances. So fill out those comment sheets. All right, hold on. Just looking at these notes. All right, valued components. So a valued component is a key element of the environment that is considered important or sensitive to change, and that is likely to interact with the proposed road project. We have 6 main value component umbrellas. We have Aboriginal and treaty rights, biological, physical, human health, socioeconomic, and cultural heritage resources. I'll just go through each one really briefly and just give you a little short rundown of the studies that we're doing connected with each one of the VCs. So under Aboriginal, treaty rights and interest, some of the studies that we're doing, we're collecting existing IK and ILRU information that has also been previously collected by communities. We're also conducting project-specific studies, and the project team sent out a study area memo inviting feedback from the communities on the preliminary local and regional study areas for the ATRI assessment. Under the physical environment BC, we will be doing air dispersion modeling, climate change assessment, groundwater, surface water sampling, drilling, and 3D landscape modeling. Under the biological environment, my favorite part of this whole project, we're doing a lot of field studies. It includes fish, wildlife, birds, plants, and species at risk. There's way too many to list here, but if you're interested, I'll happily talk your ear off about it. One of the actual studies under the biology that a lot of people are interested in is the caribou collaring. For the Northern Road Link, we've been requested by MECP to capture and collar 15 female caribou. This study will be going ahead in February, assuming that we have all of our permitting in place. There's a lot of permitting that's happening right now. During the actual study, we have a specialized caribou capture team that captures a caribou with a net. It's fired from a gun from the helicopter. And then our team and the caribou capture team runs over to the caribou and they collect blood and hair samples and pellets. And then they affix the caribou collar around the female and let her go. The whole thing only takes a few minutes. It happens really quickly. Again, if you want to talk more about that, I'll be happy to talk about it. Under socioeconomic BC, we're doing primary data collection within the communities through focus groups, community surveys, interviews, as well as we'll be using publicly available data. Under cultural heritage BC, we'll be doing a stage 1 archaeological assessment and a cultural heritage study. Under the human health BC, we will be doing primary data collection and possibly country foods, tissue sampling if required. So some of the key concerns that have been raised from the terms of reference include ensuring that we have adequate Indigenous consultation and participation, that we incorporate IK and ILRU data into the assessment as viewed through an Indigenous lens, and that we minimize impacts to Aboriginal treaty rights and interests. Some other key concerns that came up were related to cumulative effects. Some concerns included the road may trigger industrial development in the Ring of Fire and effects from other roads in the area. We also just want to note that the Impact Assessment Agency of Canada is conducting a regional assessment on the Ring of Fire area, and we will be able to incorporate the data that they've collected into this study as well. Some other concerns related mainly to the biological environment and the physical environment are the road being placed on the esker, because that's important caribou and moose habitat, and of course the peatlands, because the James Bay lowlands is one of the world's largest wetlands and the biggest carbon sink, and due to the complex hydrology, and there is a lot of concern about this, and we are cognizant of that. And the other main concern that came up was the crossing of the Attawapiskat River. So part of the terms of reference, we have a list of commitments and monitoring studies that we've committed to doing. They may relate to anything concerned with project construction, operation and maintenance, mitigation measures, consultation engagement, and compliance monitoring. And in a nutshell, the monitoring is meant to verify the effectiveness of all the mitigation measures that we plan to apply, and to help determine if additional action is needed to meet these commitments. That is our last slide. I just want to remind everybody, please fill out your comment sheet. I'm not sure when we're doing the door prizes, very soon. You guys? I don't know when. Oh, right, Ron is coming up. So this is just how you can contact us. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. There's the phone number, the email address, and the website.
No, he's not there. I wanted to introduce Ron.
Want me to just introduce myself?
Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Kanutski.
That's what it's like to be an Indigenous comedian. Usually I have to introduce myself. I just fly in places and they go, okay, go, just go up there. No real big introduction. You might have seen me on APTN or TV Ontario. It wasn't related to comedy, but I was on there. You might have seen me at Walmart. Probably more apt to see me at Walmart. I spend a lot of time there. Or Dollarama. You might see me at Dollarama. This is really weird doing comedy like this. This reminds me of a time I was at Fort William First Nation and they put me on to do comedy and there was a bingo ball machine and the microphone was attached to the bingo ball machine just like this. And I couldn't move around. I was literally, and it was low to the ground so I had to bend down a lot and the speakers were broken. So I did most of the show like this. My name is... And after about 5 minutes I said, who's the guy that runs this? Jerry's out of town right now. So I was stuck to this bingo ball machine. After about 10 minutes, I just turned it on. B9, B9. They just pulled cards out of nowhere. Everyone just started playing. I remember the show fondly well. I made $1,000 that night, but I had to pay out $2,000 on the full house, so I lost $1,000. I didn't realize the games were that high out there, so it was a kind of a loss for me. But yeah, this is kind of nice. I think we should do some big cheers for the kitchen. The food was great. Wow. This makes me want to be Italian. Holy man, that was so good. So I want to thank the Da Vinci for that. Always good food here. If this is their sound system, no, they're going to have to do something about that. As I did earlier, it kind of sounds like when you're flying Wasea, sounds like the pilot's microphone on here right now. I feel good though in front of this podium. It reminds me, I've been doing a lot of shows, what they call virtual. And for the last 2 years, I've been just getting on there with just a shirt on. I don't even wear my pants anymore. I just do shows, don't put anything on, and I just giggle to myself, you know. And I've just got to remember not to stand up in the middle of the show because then it's embarrassing. But yeah, it's been 2 years. COVID's cost me about 40 pounds. I put on about 40 pounds during COVID. So I'm a bit of a mess right now. I'm trying to heal myself up. And so I'm traveling, I'm doing live shows again, and it's been weird. I started flying up north to Anishinaabe Nation territory, and they were trying to make me do that PCR test. That was a little bit scary. I watched the videos on the social media there on TikTok. I don't know if anybody's seen that, where the lady was in the drive-through and they had that swizzle stick and they were putting it in her nose and she was going, ah, ah, and she was screaming like they were torturing her. And I was like, I'm not getting that done. You know, that's crazy. You know, I'm not gonna let people do that to me. You know, but I went to Kingfisher and I watched a nurse do it with a lady, and I had to man up. So I just sat down and she put that stick up there, and I can't even do grade 6 math anymore. I don't know, it's just what they took out of there when they pulled it out, but I can't divide, I can't subtract. Everything's just gone. It's messed me up. It's been rough too, that COVID-19, or as our elders call it, COVID. Okay? They call it the COVID. Be careful, you're going to catch the COVID. That's what they tell you. It made me. I wasn't scared at first. The first one they had, what was it called there? Coronavirus. That's named after a Mexican beer. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to feel a little hungover, maybe get the runs for a day or two, and then you'll be good, right? So it wasn't too bad. And then the next one came, it was called the Delta variant. That kind of got me nervous, because that's like a bad airline in the States and a mediocre hotel in Canada. So I was kind of like, well, maybe that's a bit concerning, you know? But when it's really dangerous, super dangerous. I was going to go to the States, and the elders came right to my house. They have grandmothers, Kukumis Nanak, they come to my house. Don't go over there. You don't go Kitchimok King right now. You're going to go over there and catch the Omicron. Their voice would change. They turned into Transformers when they were telling me, don't go over there. You're going to catch the Omicron. I was like, and I was scared all of a sudden. I was like, I don't want to go over there, you know. I got the shots. You know, I went and got the shots. I don't know who here, I know sometimes when I come to these who didn't get the shots because you're still wearing those masks, you're running around, you're a bit scared. I wasn't scared, I got the shots, but then I got thinking about it. It was the first time Anishinaabe ever got to go first on something, I know, I was standing in line, I'm gonna get the shots, and I was like, hey, wait a minute. Why are we getting to go first? I know what Anishinaabe means in English. It means guinea pig. That's what it means. Get on up there. Get on up there. They push you in the front of the line. I was up there, right at the very front, getting to the front, and someone said, smallpox blanket, and I just went, no, okay. I just booked her. I was scared. And the one guy that was making, that one company that was making that vaccine, Johnson & Johnson, hey, they were been poisoning us with baby powder for years, cancerous baby powder, and then we even proved it gave you cancer, and they kept it on the market, you know, and I'm still putting it on. Coming out of the shower, I gotta get dry, as I'm just patting it on and putting it all over my body, and that should have been the cue to get rid of that stuff, I'm still putting it on. Putting on that baby powder, and then they're in charge of vaccines. I was like, no way, not doing this. I gotta wait for a little while. But I got the Moderna. Well, I guess that's it. I haven't even got it. Am I going to get actually taken out of the building with staff, or? That anti-vaccine message didn't go well here. Is this kind of? Is this a government-run project? What's going on here? Who here is from the Liberal government? Put your hand up. Something's going on here. Chief, do something. Well, I guess that's it for that. No, I'm dead.
Yeah, the manager's coming.
All right, the name of the phone, it's gone. Tout fini. That's all. All right, doesn't matter. Cut the power off, I'll keep going. They can't, my voice won't be silenced. Oh boy. Yeah, I got, our elders, they a lot of letters they don't say right. That's why they don't say COVID, they say COVID-19. Okay? I was just at the airport there. I ran into an elder there from Kingfisher Lake and passed each other, and I said, Bonjour, haha, bonjour, Ron, bonjour. And she says, oh, how are you? And I said, oh, in the middle of this, I told her, I said, gigi. She said, Minoaya. I said, that's good to hear, I told her in English. And she says back to me, I got TB, she said. And I went, wait, what? I thought you just told me you were Minoaya. She says, I got TB. I said, that's terrible. She goes, no, it's about 42-inch. Oh, I said TV. I was like, oh, she had me all scared there. I started covering up my mouth and TB, tuberculosis, get away from me. Back up. She's trying to hug me. Get out of here. Yeah, I was a little bit nervous about that, but it's okay, you know, I'm still around. And I'm pretty excited. I started going out again. I see some of yous out on the town. Hey, it's good to see everybody back out. Went to that the inner city shopping center finally. I don't really like that place. There's nothing there for men to buy, really. There's suitcases and overpriced luggage and stuff like that. There's nothing that a man needs. But because my store is across the road, it's called Kentucky Fried Chicken. You guys, I see all your trucks parked there. I know that's the place to go. Hey, that's where us men hang out. We drop our family off at the mall and straight across the road, go over and have some chicken. That's the good life. Sometimes Canadian Tire when we got money, eh? But so those are good places. But I was over there at that inner city shopping center there, and I walked in, first store at the showcase. I walked in, there was $100 on the ground. I was like, yeah! But I didn't pick it up right away, because if I would have picked it up, someone went, whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, please, it sounded like a rock concert starting out there. Coming to the stage next, Led Zeppelin. There you go. Come on, yeah, you probably can't relate to that. Coming to the stage next, Stompin' Tom Connors. I don't even know how that happened. Like, where's the main power switch in this place? Oh. What?
Is it better?
Thanks.
Yeah.
I guess he figured I couldn't do that on my own. Just standing here. What do I look like, Dustin Hoffman? I definitely can't move the mic. I definitely don't know how to move the mic. That was my Rain Man impersonation. Thank you. I heard them laughing online. I could hear the laughing through the lens. I keep forgetting there's people on there. Oh, it's just like, whoa. Who's running things over there? Is that Tony? Come on, Tony. This is difficult being an Indigenous comedian, I'll tell you. This is probably one step away from the bingo ball machine. It's like, that's how close this is from a complete fail. The only thing that kind of tops this one is I did a show one time in Mobert, Ontario for 9 people, a dog, and a wolf. That's happened there. It was my first show out. They told me there was going to be 200 people. I got there. There were more people at my alcohol and intervention than there was at that comedy show. I walked in there and I got up, I was getting a beef on a bun because they go all out when they throw a party over there in Mobert. We had beef on a bun sandwich, and they left the door open because, you know, in Ojibwe country, when the building gets hot in the wintertime, you don't touch the thermostat. You just open the door and let the cold come in. That's how they air condition the building. And this almost sounds professional at this point. Coming to the end of the night here. And anyways, I'll get back to that story about the $100. You're probably thinking, what? He just lost his complete train of thought there. But with all that microphone squealing and assistance there, I kind of got lost for it. I almost feel like I'm at court, actually, standing up here at this thing. I'm trying to get myself a plea, get myself to get 2 years less a day if I can swing it. But anyways, I was standing there in line, and a big dog walked in there. A big dog walked in, and I said, holy cow, that's a big dog. And then right after that, a bigger dog came in, and I said, holy cow, that's a big dog. And the elder said, it's not a dog, it's a wolf. I said, a what? Wolf. What? Wolf. I said, oh, wolf. She says, that's what I said, wolf. And I was like, oh, okay. Anyways, by the time I realized it was a wolf, or a wolf, the thing was already at the table. I'm standing there with my beef on a bun, and I had a choice, me or the beef on a bun. So I just very gently handed it over, and it just snapped it out of my hand, and it turned around and walked out. And I said, I think it's time to close the door now. So I have a rider that I send out when people sign up and I have to sign a contract for me. It says no wildlife allowed at the shows. And in the United States, the people find it rather funny and they go, has this happened? And I go, yes, numerous times. That's why I had to put this up for safety. So I have a thing that people sign that says no bears, no wolves, no wolverines. And I put the smaller ones on too, because you never know. So I put the weasel and the fisher and the marten. I thought I'm going to just blanket them all because I don't want anything coming in and trying to kill me during a show, because some of them are very hungry during the winter time. So that's how tough it is to be Indigenous comedian. And my last tough show, of course, I had to do was at a Truth and Reconciliation Day concert. I didn't even think that that was possible, but they invited me and I thought we were going to have a day of fun. I showed up and we had 4 people talk about their experiences in school. And at the end, they said, we're going to take a 20-minute break and come back and Ron's going to tell jokes. I was in the back corner crying. You know, like, I wasn't ready. I didn't know I was going to be triggered with 4, life stories. And they're like, come on, you're supposed to be funny. And I said, maybe we should just do some healing songs or something right now. And I was just shook right up, and it didn't even happen to me. I was just hearing the stories and I fell apart. It was terrible. So that's another thing I don't do, the Truth and Reconciliation Day shows anymore. You have to learn. It's called live and learn as a comedian, But as I was telling you, I found $100 at the inner city shopping center. I was pretty excited about that. And I didn't pick the money up right away, because if I would have picked it up, someone else would have said, hey, that's my $100. And I would have had to give it to them, because I'm a nice guy. So what I did is I took my keys out and I dropped them. And I kind of did a little dance, and I went down, did a grass dance swoop, and I scooped $100 and my keys at the same time. Checked it out, it was legit $100. So right away I was like, that's it, I'm rich. So I went right to that Laura Secord shop. You know that store that none of us are allowed to shop in? Anybody ever walk by there? They got like chocolates in there, but they don't have prices on anything. And you walk in there, how much are these chocolates? They just escort you right, get out, they just kick you out. You have to ask, you can't afford it, eh? Well, I walked in there, boy, just like this. I had that $100, I shook it out. I said, I'll have a chocolate milkshake. I'm lactose intolerant. I don't even care if I poop my pants. I'm going to have one. That's how much money I have. I'm going to do this. So I'm standing in line. I said, give me a double chocolate. So the lady starts brewing it up. Next door, there was red and white flag. I thought they were having a protest, but it was just Tim Hortons. There were people all lined up. They were lined up right out the door there. And I was just me all alone at that Laura Secord shop. Then all of a sudden, this kid started crying. There was a kid crying over there, and he's crying. And it got louder and louder, and I kept looking over. And I work for child welfare, eh? And as right away, I was like, what's going on here? Poor parenting? So I still, even though I don't even work there, I still have the lanyard with my badge. So I just pulled it out and dropped it in front, so I'll go there and check out this parent, see what's going on. So I went over there, and that kid's rolling around on the floor, and she's pulling him by the arm, trying to get him up, eh? And he wouldn't listen. He just kept crying, he's crying away. And I walked over there, and I said, what's going on here? And I have all the other people backed up. And that lady goes, I'm having a hard time with my son. I said, hey, what's wrong with you? What's happening here? And he goes, I lost my $100, he says. And I said, the problem with me is I'm just too darn nosy. I should mind my business, so I just went back over to get my milkshake. I thought he would wind down, but he just got louder and louder. He's screaming, I lost my $100. I lost my $100. He's kicking his feet on the floor and hitting his head, and I couldn't take it. I paid for that milkshake. I walked over there and I said, he's still good. I lost my $100. I said, hey, hey, hey. And he stopped crying. I said, did you lose $100? And he goes, yeah. I reached in my pocket and I looked at him and I said, here, and I gave him $20. That's the kind of person I am. I'm all about community and helping others, And I hate to see a young person like that in suffering, And so I give him $20, because I'm all about healing and community, So I know right now some of you are a little bit judgy. I can feel it. I feel a little bit of judgment in there, but I rectified the situation. And the way I thought about it anyways is, why would you give a kid $100 in the first place? I'm gonna teach them a lesson. You know, you're gonna lose that kind of money. So I said, you should take that 20, split it into 4 5s. If he loses 3 5s, he can still buy tidbits by the time he gets to the front of the line. So that's how I help with healing here in the community. So if you need any support with healing, just give me a call, because you can see from my track record, that's how I work. I'm all about community and healing. I'm very excited about this road, as all I see is just fishing ventures. That's all. My mind's clouded. I'm not thinking about the environment. I don't know what the community's getting out of this. All I know is fishing. That's all I know. Or as my grandma would call, pishing. I'm going fishing very soon. So I really encourage you to get that road going. You know, I'm all for it. I've been waiting for roads so I could go fishing up there for a long time, because the flights are expensive. You know, every time I go to think about visiting Bruce and Ogoki Post, it's like, flight to Ogoki Post, flight to Jamaica, flight to Ogoki Post, flight to Jamaica. For some reason, Ogoki Post never wins, you know. I'm just saying, you know, maybe if he had Disneyland up there or something, I'd think twice, but right now, the way it goes, I just keep going south instead of north. But he puts that road in, I ain't gonna have any excuses then. I can just head on up there and visit Bruce, have my boat hooked up on the back, and I'll be right close to Cree country too, eh? That's where the Crees, my grandmother comes from Moose Factory, where they make mooses. You guys know that. There's a big factory over there, and they churn them out. That's where they procreate, and they just send them all over Canada, and there's moose everywhere. And that's why I'm grateful for Moose Factory. It's nice. The only thing I'm a little embarrassed, I didn't really speak Cree, eh? I come from Ojibwe country, and when my grandma moved to Ojibwe country, she never spoke Cree either. And first time I was going up to Moose Factory to see where they make them, I was pretty excited about that. I was on the plane to go see where they make the moose, and I was going to get on the Air Quebec, and a guy come off there about 6'2". Eh? Crees are really big too. I don't know what they eat, but they're big, those guys. And they just come walking off the plane. They're always wearing sunglasses too. They're always hiding their eyes, eh? The guy walks off the plane, he says, "Hey, what ya?" He said to me. And I looked at him and I said, just nodded. Another guy walks by, same thing. "What ya?" He says. He was a pretty big guy too, about 6'5", and I just looked and stared him down. Other guy got off my size, looked me right in the eye, and says, "Watch it." I said, "No, you watch it, eh? I'll give you the boots here." Taking crap from you guys all across the tarmac here. I give him a couple shots anyways to teach him a lesson. I found out in court, apparently they're just saying hello. That was kind of embarrassing. I didn't know that word. And then when the judge let me off the hook, and he said, "Okay, you can go." And the judge said, "Watch it." And I said, "No, you watch it," I told him. Apparently they say that for goodbye too. I didn't know, but got in a fight with the judge after too. It's like, holy cow. So I don't go over there anymore to Timmins, or Timmins, as some of us say. Some of us say it plural, Timmins. Other people call it Timmin, right? And down the road, there's another place called Cap. And then a little further down the road, there's one called Urs, or as we say, Hearst. But some people call it Urs. And that's quite a town over there. It's a beautiful place if you've ever been. They got a Claude Giroux shrine set up for the Philadelphia Flyer. And they got 2 paper mache moose and a couple of wolves there too. It's very nice. You can go, they have a tank at the Legion. I'm not sure if they think the Cree are going to try to take that town, but they got a tank and a howitzer right at the Legion waiting for us to make a move, and they're going to shut us down there. That's the first line of defense they put up against the Cree and the Urs. Just want to let you know that, and I appreciate when you laugh hard at that, because I really think it's funny myself, and I try not to pretend it's really good up here to me, but it's funny, really funny to me. And the Chinese food in Urs too is that's the only place you get bread instead of rice. I never figured that out ever. I don't know. I got the chicken ball and the beef, and I said, "This is Chinese. It's not here. This is French Chinese. Everybody has toast." I was like, "Okay." And I said, "Toast or toast?" He says, "No, we're eating toast." I said, "Okay." But it was good. I have a good time in Urs and Cap and Timmins. And that's all I have to say with the French accent that I can say here for clean humor tonight. And I'm just going at random right now. And autopilot, like I said, I haven't performed live for like 2 years, so this is hard for me. So I guess at this time, I think I'll just end it right now and say miigwech to everybody. Miigwech, kinoya nanaki pisindayak. Thanks for coming out. And I want to thank the chiefs and everyone that worked hard on this project. And I wish you all the best in getting that road, because I know it's been tough, you know, with getting access and getting things in and out. And it's really good to see. And I sure hope there's more positives to the road than negative, and that life's going to be for the better for all of our Anishinaabe people. I want to thank Tony for inviting me today, and I hope I didn't embarrass anyone or say anything inappropriate up here. I'm probably going to have a defamation suit from Wasea tomorrow. So again, I'm probably going to make a little bit of money here and lose 10 or 12 grand in that case. So that's going to be a little bit tough. But I think the best part's coming up now. They got prizes. I'm glad they didn't hand them out first, or no one would have stayed to listen to my rambling. So I always hate that in communities when they give out the prizes and the 2 happy people go out the door and angry people leave, and there's like 3 people watching my show. So thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Just one last call for folks to fill out your comment forms if you want an extra raffle ticket to increase your winnings of our wonderful door prizes here. Got some blankets, an air fryer, and Visa gift cards. For how much? For $50. So last call to fill out. Any last call for comment forms for an extra raffle ticket?
No.
No? Okay, we'll call them out. They say 2? Okay.
Do you want me to close the laptop so you don't have to peek over?
Yeah. Tiptoeing.
You good?
We're good?
Okay.
All right, what are we giving out first? What do you want to give out?
They can come and choose whatever they want.
Okay. And the first ticket, last 3 digits, 604. 604, ending in 6. Yay! Come on down.
11.1, go people 0.
What do you want? You can choose what you want. Blankets or the air fryer.
Gift card.
Or gift cards.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Are you gonna choose the prize or?
You can choose one of the blankets or an air fryer.
Or a gift card.
Blanket.
Which one?
This
Blue.
one?
Which one?
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. You want me to carry? Are you good?
Shuffle it.
Shuffle it up.
Pick it. Okay. Next one.
Oh yeah, clapper here.
Yay! All right. Ready for the next one? Last 3 digits, 619.
Leslie, yeah.
Leslie, another one for Webequay.
Wait, 2-0.
Good job. What are you gonna take? The blanket.
As far as could be requested.
All right. All right,
Okay.
so all we have left is the air fryer and the 2 gift cards.
Blankets are a hit.
Okay. Okay. 634.
This one's from Webequay, you should probably run.
634.
Yay.
Yay. Another Webequay.
Okay, what do you want? Money or air fryer?
Oh, sounds like people want the air fryer. This is a tough decision. Tough decision. Good job.
Okay.
All right. Okay, next one, you guys ready? 613. 613. We have a winner.
Webacquaid.
Webacquaid,
No, wait.
the same number.
613. 613.
Martin Falls, finally. You want this or the air fryer? Okay.
Okay. No room. 613. All right, last prize for the air fryer. You can do your holiday cooking in your air fryer. 617. 617. Anyone?
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
All right, there we go. That's it.
Let me know if you want to bring it up.
Thanks for coming out, and just remember, this is just the beginning. We'll be coming back again probably spring. We'll do another Thunder Bay members of Martin Falls and Thunder Bay, or Webacquaid. Be rich.